Often when working with a spreadsheet, you'll have data that you'll want to analyze somehow and perform some math operations on. So spreadsheets actually have a lot of built-in calculator features. You'll notice over here this function symbol. Looks kind of like a weird E. It's called sigma. And in this function symbol, they have a whole bunch of features and functions you can use. Like sum means to add all the values together, or average means to find the average value of all the numbers. So to use these functions, you can highlight the ranges first. So you could say, I want to know all of this, I want to know the average percent of cesarean sections that are performed. So we would scroll down and highlight all of these values. So I clicked the left button on my mouse, and then I used the scroll feature to scroll all the way down. If you don't have a scroll feature on your mouse, you can click the top value you want. You can use the scroll bar, and then you can hold the shift key. So before I click here, I want to hold shift and then click here, and it will highlight everything from top to bottom. So once I have all the data highlighted, to find the average value, I click on functions and just click average, and it will put it directly below. And when you have this entered in, you don't really want to retype anything, you just want to hit enter, and it will actually show the average value. So from all the countries with all the data that we've collected, the average cesarean section performed is 20.2%. You'll notice now that in my cell itself, it shows an actual percentage. In this bar up here, before when it was just text, it showed the exact text. Now that we're starting to use an equation, it will show the equation up in the bar and show the answer to the equation in the cell you want. Now a second way to do this, let's say we want to sum all those cells together. You can go to the place you want the sum to show up and do sum, and then we have to actually type in our cell reference. So we are in column D, and we want that first value of column D, so D2, capital D2, and then we want the whole range. We want to go all the way to the bottom again, so to tell it to do a whole range, we have to type in a colon, so shift and the semicolon key next to the L gives me a colon, and then we click on the last cell we want, and I should not have clicked, I should have typed. So if you mess up, it's going to show you an error. So instead of clicking, what I should have done is actually typed in the cell reference. I should have hit D174 is the last one, and then hit enter. So if you mess up, you could have erased the whole cell, you can edit in your bar, you can fix things if you type the wrong thing in. So there's a lot of preset cell functions. There's sum and average. The counting feature will literally just count, maybe you didn't start at the very top and end at the very bottom, so it'll just count how many of whatever you've highlighted, or it'll find the biggest number or the lowest. Some other useful ones are median and mode. Some of the most common data analyzing we do is to find the mean, the median, and the mode. So to find these, we go to all, and we're going to have to scroll again. We want to look for median and mode. We already have average. It's so useful and so common. It's in our main formula area. But we're going to scroll down and keep going until we find median or mode. So median here, and then we have mode later on. So we click on median. Since I was already in the cell where I'd summed everything, I just erased the sum. But we can still just keep moving forward. So to do the median, we still want that same range of cells. We started at D2 and ended at D174. So we're going to type that in, D2, shift, and then the semicolon key next to the L, D174, and then we hit enter, you'll see it highlighted in red, all the cells we're working with. And now we have our median value, the middle value. Now, if you don't want to sort through all the different functions, if you know the name of the function, like the mode, we can actually type in the mode ourselves. If we always have to hit the equal sign to say the next thing we type is going to be some sort of equation. So we type in mode, we can hit the parenthesis, which I hit the wrong one, now I have it right. Hit the parenthesis, we can type our first cell, the D2, and then semicolon to say keep going until we hit our last cell, D174, end parenthesis, enter, and it just gave me the mode, the number that occurs most often, without having to scroll through, because we saw there was a lot to scroll through this all to get to mode. But we could have also found it using this menu. So a couple different ways to get to what we might want to use. You can type it in yourself, but quite often it's easiest to find it in this functions feature.